My name is Tom Kent. I'm with the Madeira Stories Live group that plans these events on behalf of the city of Madeira. So it's my pleasure to introduce you tonight, Councilman Chad Schaefer, who's going to be your host for this really interesting presentation coming up. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Tom, very much. And you don't know it because it's behind the scenes, but Tom does a lot of work to make events like these happen. And let's give him one more big round of applause because I got to see it firsthand, and have to tell you, the Inclusion Committee in general has done a phenomenal job of reaching out, telling stories of various facets and aspects of our community. So I have to give them a lot of credit. We've heard a lot of great stories. We've dealt with a lot of different subjects, and I think it's been fantastic for the community and brings us all together as one community. So thank you for all the work of the Inclusion Committee. David, I see Tom. I'm probably missing some of you. You know who you are. You do wonderful work, and the Madeira Stories Live in particular has been a great add to our community here. So I think it's a testament of how many people have come out this evening to hear from our local veterans. And last year, I think Tom and I were chatting, and I said, I don't know that we've done anything with veterans. It'd be wonderful to hear from some of our local veterans that have served our country and some of their backgrounds. My family is an Air Force family, so my father was a captain in the Air Force, and my brother retired as a Chief Master Sergeant. So I grew up around military and definitely honor and respect what they do and willing to put their life on the line and sacrifice on our behalf. So I respect that very deeply. Our next speaker is Clare Heinsler. Claire is currently the president of the Madeira Women's Club. She does a phenomenal job with that. You'll probably see her out and about in the community, raising funds and really helps make the fabric of this community tick. She is always at city council, so I think she's maybe the most. She could be on council.
Okay.
Are you sure? Okay. So Claire is a veteran of the Navy, the United States Navy. So her story is entitled, "I Do It All Over Again." Let's all welcome Clare Heinsler.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Kelly, for asking me to do this. It took me a little bit to decide, just a little. You didn't twist my arm. I'm originally from Rochester, New York. I joined the Navy when it wasn't popular to join the military. I joined the Navy in 1975, what was still going on, the Vietnam War, and everybody here was protesting. But I love my country. I really love my country. And I picked the Navy because I didn't want to go to college. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. I was looking at, back in 1975, data processing was brand new. Computers filled this room. I knew I wanted to work with them. I didn't know what area I wanted to work in, and the Navy gave me the chance at all the different aspects of data processing. So that made my dad happy. He was Navy. I had 9 weeks of discipline at boot camp in Orlando, Florida. I remember getting there at 2 o'clock in the morning, and at 5 o'clock in the morning was reveille. And they're going, "You got to be kidding. I only had a couple hours of sleep." But anyway, I made it through boot camp, and it's like you said, they tear you down and build you back up again. My mom told my company commander, "You made a young lady out of her." So after boot camp, I went to San Diego for data processing A school. Had a lot of fun in San Diego. Learned something too. I didn't graduate top of my class, but I understood data processing enough to become working with computers. From A school, I went to a squadron called Fleet Air Reconnaissance Squadron 2. We were the spies. over in Europe and the Middle East. And I learned more of my profession there. I made a lot of friends there. In fact, I call you Cousin Beth. There was another guy there. We called each other cousin. We had the people in the squadron thinking we were cousins. Nope, I think he was from somewhere in the Midwest here. But we had a lot of fun, partied a lot, worked harder. We traveled around Europe too with the squadron. Got to go to Germany, got to go to England. If I had stayed a little longer, I would have gone to Greece. Got to go to Germany during Oktoberfest. And this German girl drank a lot of, sorry guys, Air Force guys under the table. But Oktoberfest is something to experience. Then I got to come back to the United States to a place called Dipsyland. Data Processing Service Center to the Atlantic Fleet. During all this time, I was getting pay raises, coming up in grade, and finally became the senior second class petty officer, which is an E5 to you non-Navy types. Oh, but I forgot to show you this. But anyway, I was in charge of my shop. I was in charge of a bunch of guys. I'm sorry, ladies, it's a heck of a lot easier being in charge of guys than it is women. They tend to listen to you. But I'm going to digress for a minute. My girlfriend, back in the day, took this picture of me in my front yard, and it happens to be my favorite picture of my military time. And I was only 19. Oh my God, that was 50 years ago. The guys, we had a bowling team. We played softball. We didn't play football. But we were on the bases softball league. One other girl was on the team other than me. But I went from a squadron of 600 people with 6 civilians to a command that had 40 military and God knows how many civilians. And you had to learn to work the way the civilians did, because the military, you work to get your work done and then have fun. You know, you don't want to be there 8 hours if you don't have to be. So they used to get mad at us because we'd get our work done and say bye. And then we'd go out and have a good time. But we'd do anything for everybody, for ourselves. I only stayed 5 years in the military. But at the end of my enlistment, the senior civilian came up to me and said, "We'll take any shift, any system, any shift, any job you want. Just get your paperwork in." Now, the Federal Service has paperwork where you have to fill out I think it's a 171 form, and it's 15 pages long. And they said, just put it in, sign it, put it in. That's all I did. It was a name select, and they selected me, and I got to work finally where I wanted to work. I made a senior civilian position at that job, and then they noticed one thing. Whenever I wanted new people on my machine, I selected military. They worked hard, got the work done. I enjoyed that. But I worked 33 years with the federal government, and I would do it all again. I would do the Navy again, even in the time that it was. I don't know. I remember talking to a Vietnam veteran. He said, "Don't welcome me." He said, "Don't say thank you for my service." He says, welcome me home. He says, we were never welcomed home. So if you run into a Vietnam vet, say, welcome home, please. But I'd like to leave everybody with this. When I served in the Navy, my life was in the hands of black, brown, red, yellow, and white tone people. We were friends. We were combatants. We were shipmates, and we had each other's back. And when the hammer slammed the anvil, we trained, we sweated, we bled together. We came together from all parts of the country. We came together from all religions. We were a society unto ourselves. We worked as a team, a well-oiled machine. We fought for our brothers and sisters through thick and thin. We protected each other, but that's what we did. And the only color we saw was navy blue. And I would do it again. Thank you.
Thank you. I love that at the end. That was amazing. Thank you for your service. Thank you for sharing your story as well.